All right. Let's begin. Floor 81. Let me move this up just a tiny bit. Okay, 81 to 90. There's only one enemy that we really need to watch out for on this one. And it's the bombs, grenades, whatever you want to call them. If you leave them alive long enough, they will explode, so let's start off with our strength here. Luckily for us, that probably won't be a problem, but it's definitely worth knowing. There's one. So, not going to showcase it, obviously. I don't want to end the run. I don't feel like using erasing, but those bombs, if you leave them alive for too long, they will explode. So, don't want to do that. But other than that, this set is pretty much fine. Well, we should have probably taken care of that enemy in the other room, but that's okay. And hopefully this is enough. It's not. I think that means that we took too long, because I'm not 100% certain how respawns work, but I believe it's somewhat accepted at this point that if you, let's say there's only 3 enemies on a floor like this, if you don't kill all of them in time, a respawn will happen, and then that will end up being the maximum amount that you'll need to get off the floor. Not sure if it's true, but it seems like that's kind of what people are going with right now. So let's say 4 enemies spawned on the floor initially. I kill 4 of them, but I take too long and a respawn happens. So because that respawn happened, it allows for the kill count to be higher. Whereas if I killed all 4 before a respawn happened, the floor would open because I killed every single monster. Again, I can't prove that that's true, but there's been a lot of discussion about that, and that seems to somewhat be the prevailing opinion. But if you find evidence to the contrary, that would be great, but I think it would be hard to prove it unless you were running with multiple people. But just something to think about. Let's see. Do we have anything else that we need to get real quick? Another 3 room, that's good. So this respawn did happen, which means, you know, we could be needing to get more kills than this. It seems like somewhat it's lining up, the opinion, or, you know, the theory right here, but again, it's hard to prove, but I think if you were in a group run, you could probably prove it a bit easier. Just as a reminder, I personally don't like using altar. You can use it if you'd like, but I don't like using altars on runs where I'm trying to go fast. Or, you know, not go slow, I guess I should say, because it's not like we're trying to do a speed run, but I personally don't like having to deal with mimics, so there is a time and a place for altar, but for me, it is not right now. But if you'd like to, go ahead. If you get the kills, then that's extra points for you. Great, and we got one. Well, I probably should have done this first, but whatever. Should be able to kill it in time. Yeah. As you can see, it's not a big deal to get one yet, but I just would prefer not to. Because if I get 3 mimics on my exit and they're all blocking it, that it's like, you know, that's 3 kills that you have to get that you might not have to get otherwise, so that's kind of my reasoning behind it. I can't remember what this was. Okay, Serenity. Gotta take care of the Chimera. I'm gonna just explore a tiny bit, because I'd like to have both Mudras back. So I want to hide reset before I pull something. Oh, I just got a rage anyway. Okay, well, that makes it easy. We'll go check that bronze. Oh! Wow, this was actually a lot of kills for this set. A 7 kill open is, I would say, kind of on the higher end for this low. Only 81, 83. We are gonna check that gold, or sorry, the bronze chest. Potsherds start going up a bit more in the 100 plus, but they do slowly go up, it seems, over each set, but you'll definitely see more once you get into 101 plus, but no reason not to check it. It's just a potsherd, so, or potential. Let's clear this. Okay, convenience. So we have a 4-way start here, so I'm just gonna sight, just to make it easier. You know, unless you're trying to go very fast or maybe trying to do a score run, you don't really need your sights right now. So for me, I like to just make it easy and use a sight so I automatically know which direction to go. You don't have to do that if you'd like to save your palms for whatever reason, but I just, I like making it as easy and smooth as I can for the climb up. So instead of traveling down this way and, you know, having to double back and all this whatever, I can just use a sight and I just automatically know where the exit is, so I don't have to guess. You could say maybe it wouldn't take me that long if I just guessed, you know, all of these ones first, but it's still time spent that I don't have to spend now. Okay, I will check this chest, hopefully not get a mimic. That's annoying. Alright, I'll just deal with it. Hopefully we can avoid pox. It's not a big deal if we get poxed, it's just an annoyance, you know, because it's 10% less damage, so... And there's the whole not being able to heal, or auto-heal, but... Prefer to avoid it when I can. Well, we have to take care of patrols, so... Well, I guess we don't have to, but they're kind of high on the priority list for things that'll end up coming back to get you later. And another one. Reset. Let's see if we got a Mimic. We did not. Got an Affluence, though. That's great. Funny timing on that dragon. Decided to get us at the exact perfect moment. Okay, and that actually just lets us out. Got a good pace going here. Knockback penalty shouldn't matter for us. Let's see. Let's go this one first. Oh, I didn't see the patrol there. I think what I'm going to do is, after this floor, I'm going to use a strength. And the reason why I'm just waiting here is, I think if I wait until the next floor, the next strength I use should maybe last for the rest. That is funny that we got a rage on a no knockback. I can't remember if I've shown it already, but I'll show two things here, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to use a rage. So if you use a rage on a no knockback, let's aggro this. Nothing happens. You do damage, but it won't get killed. And now the other thing too that we just showed here, I don't know if it was obvious or not, but this will be kind of, this could potentially be relevant later. But this enemy here does this draw-in effect, but with no knockback, it actually doesn't pull you in. I'll try to find one on the next floor, but that might be useful on the 181 set, because those enemies will come up again. I guess we could have used a Serenity to use the Rage, but I kind of wanted to show off that effect, so it's whatever. And again, we don't need Rage this low, but could have used a Serenity for the Rage, but I wanted to show, I couldn't remember if I'd shown it already, but I wanted to show that Rage and no knockback will not kill an enemy in one hit, so always be careful of that. And yeah, those claws, those will be back on the 181 set, and it's definitely worth knowing about that no draw-in, because melee DPS can fight them and survive, and having stun is also a pretty big bonus, because the 181 claws have a slow that they will apply, but if you stun them, you can prevent it. So it's definitely a big win for melee DPS for fighting those enemies. But the draw-in also helps, especially on Ninja, because then it allows you to maintain kiting distance. So it's not a huge buff, I guess, for fighting those enemies, but I would consider it enough that it definitely tips the fight in your favor, and maybe if you have strength, you might be able to get a win, even if you don't have steel. So there are other enemies too that have those draw-in effects. I'll bring them up when they come up, but that's kind of a notable one because that'll come back in the 181 set. I already used a site for laziness. I don't think I'm going to use another one, so we'll just explore this the old-fashioned way. And I will use a strength. And this strength should hopefully last us the rest of the set. And I won't have to use another one. Serenity? Why not? If you're going for score, I wouldn't use that Serenity because it's not a big deal to have HP down this low. But for 100% safety's sake, you can use it. Let's show the draw-in effect on this enemy, actually. So I'm running away, and you watch it pulled me back in. So, and then it immediately follows up with that Impale. So by giving yourself that extra distance, you will still get the impale on you, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, but you will take less auto attacks, which is definitely helpful. I chose to fight the claw here instead of the dragon, because the claw has... these dragons have a lot more HP than the other mobs, so just for time's sake, it's kind of easier. We're just going to leave the intuition. Let's see if I can... Let's see, this is hide paying off for us. Not getting detected by these side enemies. And let's see. Oh, actually, here's another good one actually to showcase. So these worms are sound, and the worms on 181 are also sound. So if I walk past them like this, I'm not going to aggro them. Something that's also worth knowing, and we can kind of maybe get a sense for it, a feel right here. I'm walking here. This is fine. That dragon AoE'd. This dragon is really trying to make this annoying for me, huh? I'll just take care of the dragon real quick. So we saw that walking didn't aggro. But the other cool thing too is if I hide is actually faster than walk, but it also lets us not get detected still by sound enemies. So this is definitely worth knowing. It's like a small advantage. It's not huge, but in those cases there where an enemy is targeting you and you want to stay in walk because you don't want to get a worm aggroed on you at the same time in 181, I would say that's you know, it's a noticeable advantage for those specific scenarios. But so just know that if you're in hide, you do not also have to toggle walk. Just being in hide is enough. There we go. Next floor. Alright, 2 more floors. Guess I kind of wasted some of that strength doing that little walk right there, but it's okay. We don't need strength for the boss, just makes it go faster. Just press buttons. Oh, something dropped. Another rage, that's great. And a flight, that also helps. Get this rage on. It would be somewhat beneficial to check gold chests first, but seeing as we can kill mimics before we get pox, I would not make a big deal out of it. But later on, that will kind of be best practice, is to, if you can, try to check chests first before you use a rage, just so that if you end up getting a mimic, you don't have to fight the mimic. That rage was over here, yeah. That was an intuition and a rage, okay. This next floor is fly ditch, so should be pretty quick. Haven't been doing a good job of clearing these out. You don't have to do this, it's just a clear chat macro. I just do it to kind of get an idea of how many kills I'm getting per floor. And to see where I'm at. Let's take this out. It can sometimes help you make a decision, but it also kind of requires knowing average kill counts per floor. I'd say it only really matters once you start getting to maybe 151. Once I hit 151, I kind of assume that it's always going to take me about 7 kills to get out. Less than that is lucky in a good direction, more than that is unlucky. But once you start getting higher, I would say even as early as like 171, I would say getting an 8 kill is not that uncommon. But kind of good just to have an idea of how many kills you're at on a floor. You know, it might be one of those things where it's like, well, I probably only need like 1 more kill, so is it worth me, like maybe I can just try clutching out 1 more kill without using a steal, things like that. Not a huge deal, but it might affect some decisions. Alright, this boss. So this boss is not too bad at this level. The 190 boss is typically looked at as the most difficult boss for the melee run. Versus, you know, most jobs kind of have to worry about 180, but typically for DPS, Behemoth is not as bad, but the 190 fight is typically going to be more difficult, but here it's not so bad. It's a little bit of a tutorial for how the 190 boss will work. So here, the orange bombs, so the bombs that are the same color as the boss, those are the ones that we need to kill the orange bombs. So the bombs that are same color as the boss, and then there will be a blue bomb that comes up, and that one we need to let stun the boss. So that's a bit of a tutorial for the 190, except it'll be reverse, because the bomb there is blue. So you will kill the blue bombs on 190, and you will let the orange bomb stun. So it's kind of I don't know, I guess a way to try to remember it is kill bombs that are the same color as the boss. So as we can see here, we've got this blue bomb. We do not want to hit this bomb. Ninja doesn't really have any AoE to worry about, but if you hit this bomb, it will move around. And we don't want that. We want to keep it in the same place. I can try showcasing that on the next one. I might have to hold DPS for it, but I'll show you what happens. It's not a big deal. There is a way that you could kind of get it set up so that you might get in trouble. But the worst thing that really happens is that you... when these... So the opposite colored bombs, they stun the boss, and it ends up preventing the boss from casting an attack that will set you to, like, I don't think it's actually 1 HP. I think what happens is, I think it's like 99% of your HP. But basically, you know, not being a healer, we don't want that to happen to us, right? So that's why you want to allow the bomb to be close enough that the AoE will hit the boss. So that it interrupts its attack and doesn't hurt you for 99% HP. So we're going to wait for the next one. So if you don't know where the bombs spawn, that's not a big deal. The general strategy is just get the boss in the middle. And then what you can do, be careful because an auto attack also counts, but if you just throw a dagger like that, see how it moves the bomb? Now the AoE from this bomb is on the boss's hitbox, the boss is stunned, and we don't get that attack on us. So that's roughly exactly how the 190 boss works. It's just the colors will be swapped, the bombs are in different locations, and the boss hits way harder. So, but we'll deal with it when we get there. And Ninja is actually pretty well equipped for it. But if you understand how this boss works, you basically understand how 190 works. So with that, let us go to the next set.